Hey, what's going on? Welcome to Video Marketing Made Easy. Now, before we begin, can I just point out this sweet jacket that I found on the clearance rack at Macy's? Now, if you're listening to the podcast version of this may be the single reason why you should check out our video version of this episode on YouTube. Just saying. All right, today we're going to be talking about that video you see on the homepage of a website, or maybe it's the featured video on a company's Facebook page. Some people call it an intro video. We call it the overview video. It functions as the first introduction to your business or organization. And because you never get a second chance to make a good first impression, it's pretty important. So in this video, we're going to get into what the overview video is, what to put in it, and how to use it. And just as a disclaimer, what we're sharing here, it's not hard and fast rules. It's not something that you'll find in a marketing textbook. This is just our approach and what we do based on our experiences with our small business and nonprofit clients. All right, so let's start with what it is. So an overview video is a video that encompasses the who, what, and why of an organization or company. It's the jumping off point for the viewer's relationship with you, where you can create a connection with them so they begin to know, like, and trust you. So in our last episode, Marketing to Your Target Audience, we talked about narrowing down to one person that you're trying to talk to for each marketing video you create. But for the overview video, you don't need to get super specific with your audience because you're going for a broader appeal. The more important focus for this video is the goal. So I want to say 100%, well, maybe not 100% just to be safe, but I'll say 9 times out of 10, the goal for your overview video should be to get the viewer to care about you and what you do. Now, this is where a lot of businesses and nonprofits go off track. They take the approach that the overview video should cover everything that they think the viewer needs to know. So it turns into a long list of programs, a lot of stats, the history of the company, and on and on. But the way we think of the overview video is it's your opportunity to pull the viewer in, get them to care about who you are and what you do so they want to learn all that other stuff later. So if you try to throw all that information at them right at the very beginning of them getting to know you, it's like going on a first date with someone who won't stop talking about themselves. They're showing you their college transcripts and all the networking groups that they're in and the awards that they got. Ain't nobody got time for that. Nobody's sticking around for that. But if you tell the viewer a story that resonates with them, that reveals your heart so they feel like they know you, then they'll want to know you more. They'll follow you on social media. They'll read all the text on your website, subscribe to your newsletter. That's when they learn all the things. So how do you figure out what to put in your overview video? Well, think about your current audience, not one specific person from that audience, but your audience in general. If you need guidance on this, you can go back to that episode I mentioned earlier on marketing to your target audience. It's at videomarketingmadeeasy.net/7. So thinking about the audience that's already connected with you, what programs or products resonate with them the most? Is there a backstory about that product? Or someone who was helped by a program who has a really great success story? Think about your own path and what brought you to where you are today. Look for something heartfelt, something that brings out an emotional response. Now, once you have a great story, how does that product or program connect back to your overall mission and vision? How is this one thing an example of how you want to impact the world? Start small with some kind of personal story because that's the easiest place for people to find connection. It's really hard for me as an individual to connect with an abstract concept. But if you tell me about this one person who you helped, then when you tell me how that relates to your mission and vision, then I get it. Now, we don't recommend doing an overview video as the first piece of video marketing you create. If you're new to video production and editing, you should try and get some experience with other videos first. This is your first impression after all, so you want to tackle it when you're more comfortable with your equipment and your editing. Speaking of the edit, this is where you need to be brutal and just trim all the fat. The overview video should be really quick. The audience doesn't care about you just yet, and if they see that the video is 15 minutes long, they might not even hit play. Everything in the final video should serve a purpose. It should move the story along, introduce a new and compelling point that matters to your viewer. And Jamie actually labels this the brutal edit when she's editing because it can be so easy to leave things in because as the editor, you just love them. But if they're not absolutely necessary, they belong on the cutting room floor. Now that you've had your overview video, what do you do with it? Well, of course, it can go on your website homepage, and you can share it on your social media platforms and send it to your newsletter subscribers. And you can also use it in presentations if you're speaking to a group that isn't familiar with you. And it's really great for fundraiser dinners where people are bringing guests who are just there for the food. So this way you can introduce them to what you do. I hope that was helpful. And if you want to download a PDF that goes along with this episode, go to videomarketingmadeeasy.net/freebie. It's called 3 Essentials to Start Your Video Marketing with Zero Investment. We talked about the first 2 in the previous episode, and we basically covered the last one here. Now we're going to go ahead and jump into the Q&A in our Facebook group. And if you're not in the Facebook group yet, come on over. It's really fun, it's free, and the link is in the description. I'll see you over there. Thanks so much for watching. Now, if you want some tips on shooting better video with your phone, check out this episode right here, and be sure to subscribe. So that way you don't miss a single episode of Video Marketing Made Easy.